Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and thanks for stopping by again. Been a while, but, there are reasons, always are. Been busy around here. As far as canal news is concerned, because everybody wants to hear about that, as a rule, we're fine. Eventually the wheel of fortune will swing around again up north, and we'll be on the agenda, and we don't, when it happens, it happens. We're not focused on that at the moment, and haven't been for a little while here. We got other things we're dealing with, and the most important of them being getting this Social Security system worked out here. And I've got to say that some of the members of the Assembly, and the President definitely, have really been putting their hearts into this, and it's a new way of doing things. So I'm hoping that they work out something that is going to meet the needs of the system, and that's what Molino is particularly tough on. He's a very conservative man, and he's a real conservative. And so as a result, we need to get it done, but we need to get it done so that we don't have to come back and repair it, every year and find, that sort of stuff. He'll get what he can, and we'll hope that'll be enough to satisfy everybody who sets investment grade ratings and what have you. Who knows? But the key thing is to keep the government moving and deal with this situation. After that, then, hopefully we'll be able to take care of other things as well. However, mentioning the canal, I just realized, I have to tell you, it's just, we have had so much crap, so much silly, insane stuff, so much useless information, bad information, wrong information, flat out ridiculous information about the canal going on. And remember, some of you were here back when I did a video on those websites, a whole bunch of websites that come up saying that the Panama Canal was finished forever, had dried up completely, and everything else. And it's amazing what they'll put out there. And some of them had millions of views. You remember that? Well, it never stops. There are somebody out there to suck in the suckers every chance they get. And I was treated today receiving a video, or at least an address of the video, from a Panamanian friend. And in real estate, who happens to be in real estate. So anyhow, here it is, and it's talking about Elon Musk is going to buy the Panama Canal for $70 billion, and thereby take care of the whole problem. No more problem at all. $70 billion. He's going to do it. It's going to happen, is it? And it's very typical to some of the others. In this case, they're more AI generated. I looked at the other videos in the channel. It's very new. They put up like a whole bunch of them just this last couple of days. They're all around 20, 25, 30 minutes, and they are artificially created. They know how to play their games. It's very much like some of the emails that come out traditionally from real estate people that go on for like 4 pages and lots of capital letters and exclamation points, and then you have to go to a web page to read the details and everything else. It's exhausting, but you feel like you've really gotten an education when you get to the end. But in fact, you've just been fed the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again, and this is what has happened here. And in this case, it's baloney. And my friend said, this is terrible. And I said, no, it's not. I said, look, anybody who's coming down to thinking of living in Panama or buying a home or renting a place down here is going to be intelligent enough to realize that if Elon Musk was buying the canal for $70 billion, that it wouldn't show up in the news and some little tiny nowhere site no one's ever heard of before. It would be how Elon expresses himself. He's not ashamed. He'd be right out there saying, I'm buying the Panama Canal. It's just total nonsense. But that's what we're going to have to put up with. We're used to it now, so all right, we'll get on it. That's just the way it is. Now, as far as the copper mine, that is something that's been discussed. I know it's been discussed quietly in the background for some time. But Molino's been absolutely flat out on this too. We're not talking to you until after I deal with the Social Security issue, and I'm not going to talk to you under these dangling sword of going to arbitration immediately or anything else. First Quantum needs this. We need it. They need it. That the people need to be satisfied that it's being done the right way this time. Is that clear? All right? And attitudes have begun to change. They've shifted. And they're more open to it. They have more trust in Molino. I think that's a good part of it. And he knows what went on. And I mean, he could see why they were upset. So he's really working at this job. I don't get involved in politics in this country, but I'm impressed by the way he stays very steady on his path, and he knows who he is and where he wants to get and how he wants to get there, and he's moving toward it. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to get whatever they get the Social Security thing. There'll be another demonstration. We had a big, noisy, and I might add, violent one here by our standards. I mean, nobody got killed or serious. Yeah. But it was really out of hand. And that's one union. We know them well. They do this all the time, but not like this for since 10 years. So there were a lot of arrests made. And that was in and out, was one day, and took care of it. I went around that day, was completely unaware of the fact there was this going on down on the Cinta Costera. But anyhow, or I should say Balboa Avenue, it is just part of the game here. And so it happened. They get arrested. The bank account for the union is closed down because they've broken the rules of the bank and everything else. And we get on with our lives. They keep their candidate this last election got 1.08% of the vote. That was the first time any of them had gotten over 1%, at least in this century since I came down. Not a big threat. And of course, on the right wing, it's the same thing. I mean, this is a socially very conservative group. The guy ran as a candidate of a party and also as an independent candidate by petition. He can do that. So he has his name appeared twice in the ballot. He got 0.2% of the vote in one and 0.2% of the vote in the other. So he got 0.4%. What I'm saying is that these are decent people. Both the lady who took from the left and the gentleman from the right, they're both perfectly good people. We don't hate them or anything of this sort. We just disagree. And they are too extreme. And we don't go for the extremes easily. And I don't like them here. And we will talk that way sometimes. Panamanians love a good conversation. And if you happen to be talking to Venezuelans or Colombians, you guarantee it because they have a whole different way of approaching these things. But Panamanians will talk. In fact, we work together far better. And those, I mean by we, I mean the residents, the real residents, the long-term people who will really get serious about it and follow it, to make things work as best we can and be helpful. For us, it means being helpful from the side. For them, it just means they don't have to worry about us causing trouble. Any event, that will be coming up again. We'll see if that works out. And again, it's just the wheel of fortune up there in Washington, and we don't know when that will be over, and we'll hope it's not too far down the road. This is Carnival Week. We like to say half the city, but not quite half the city, but a large portion of the city got into buses and cars and everything else, and charging off because this is the period just prior to Lent in the Christian calendar. And there's going to be a big to-do about the whole thing. I believe the French would refer to it as Mardi Gras. And here is Carnival, and it will be big. And if I find a photo here, I'll stick it up, and so you can see what a couple of the queens and Las Tablas, which is the most famous carnival parade in the country. Here in the city, we have them all over the place, but Las Tablas is a small city. They refer to it as a sleepy town. I thought, geez, I come originally from a sleepy town. We weren't sleepy, we just were small. But when we got it together, we did well. They do a super job out there in Las Tablas. So that's our canal, and then plenty of people are going to be here for our celebration and so on. And the president says, have a good time. They put off everything with Social Security until after, specifically after the carnival, because in the past, some administrations have tried to pass a controversial legislation just prior to a holiday like this, and the idea it will get lost in the shuffle. No way. So it was said, we're not doing that, specifically for that reason. So there will be no more talk until we get back from Carnival, and we all sit down and we can complete our conversations. And we're at what's called the third reading, and we should be at the end of this, hopefully soon. That's up to them. It's their business. So that keeps us happy and smiling too, because we've got that to bear back on. It is not all we would like it to be here, but it has been very good. The real estate market is certainly still alive. I mean, Latin Americans are definitely coming in. And Europeans are beginning to pop up a little more frequently. They're sort of in a difficult situation over there in some respects, so that's okay. Americans continue to come down, and Canadians as well, when they can afford it. I mean, the dollar strength is really a pain in the butt for a lot of people out there, and it just keeps on being strong. We'd love to see it come down at least, a little, 10% or something like that would be nice. We'll see if that'll come eventually, hopefully in time for some people to be able to buy a home. So that's that sort of stuff going on, and the economy is sort of flattish and it's not doing well. We have too much unemployment. We have to deal with that. We haven't had double digits in a long time. We're around 12, I think it's now, and that's not good. So this is definitely a major issue and something that's being discussed constantly. A lot of efforts are going into finding good, constructive investment projects that will pay back their investment, that people can work on now and find jobs and everything else. And some things that aren't just construction. It takes more than that. Not everybody's in construction. Any event, those are the bits and pieces, and I'll have more of those when the time comes. We're okay. We hope you're okay. And I thank you for stopping by again, and I look forward to seeing you the next time.